This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so some of you are face some issue with not creating the test script, but executing the script. So the people I got that request from to show how to do that, I already replied back. But let me show you here. Let me show you here how to do that. Okay, let's say that you are you have to create a test script. Okay, so you have to go to this Zephyr scale, and then you have to create a script, and the script will be like it's a test case, so it will be like in the specific folder. For example, your project is following a specific folder for each and every functionality or like a page, so it depends. So most likely they will go for page, like every page you are going to have a, like any test, they will create a folder for that, for example. But in some cases they might not follow any folder. This is also possible, so it depends. But if you have the idea, like if you want to organize your test case based on the pages, you can also do that. Right now we have the names here, the person name here, but you can also keep the page name, like home page, login page, user page, or cart page, something like that. So you can do that. Now let's talk about this one. This is the one that I created. So once I think I already have this added here, so it will show you this execution here. It will show you here, but let me check another one that I don't have anything. Or who is not able to do the execution? Anyone here? Then I will check that test case.
Can you please check mine one?
Okay, so let me check this one. So I can see two test cases here. So I will open one of them, and test script is here, and execution. There is no execution, so you cannot execute that. And one of the important thing, if you see here, I have a step 1, step 2. For step 3, you cannot create like this. So this all should be in a different step.
Okay, I got it. I was thinking like I understand all of them, so let's put all of three is together. So I'll like edit it again, no problem.
No, so you have to based on your step. So basically, this is the thing that I didn't mention yet. So the steps you see, these are the action that you have to perform. So when you click on add to cart, it's supposed to do something, like you are expecting something. So your expectation should not be here in the steps. So in the first day, I told you just keep it like that, and we will move it to that later somewhere. And in last session, I think I showed you that how to do that, how to like write the steps, and based on the steps, what will be your expectation. So you have to keep it here in this column in expected result. So if you have like something like this, the verified product successfully added to shopping cart, no, you cannot do that. So instead of doing that, in step 4, click on add to cart. So based on that, when you click on the add to cart, you are verifying that product is added on in your cart or not. So that is your expectation. After clicking on this button, click on this add to cart. So it should be correspond to this line, and that should be like step 4, and you will do this one, verify product successfully added to shopping cart will be your expected of step 4. Okay, but now let me do this one. Because you don't have the, you can see that execution. So what I will do is I will go to back this board, and here I will create a story, or let's say that let me check if I have any story here which doesn't have any test case added. This test case doesn't have anything, but let me add it here. Okay. So what you need to do is you have to relate that test script with some of the story, any of the story of your code, one story. And if you just click on this Zephyr skill, then it will give you extra option to add or create a new test case or add an existing one. So you already have created the script, so you can click on this one, add an existing one. But if you need to create a new script or test case, then you have to click here, create a new test case. So right now I'm showing you that if you already have this, how you will link it, right? So click on this, add an existing one. Now it will show you the list of test cases that you have. So I want to link the first one, let's say this one, okay? Yeah. So in this way, I'm able to add that script here for this test or this task. Now, if you see here, I have one option for, it's a play button, right? It says that start a new execution. You see that? Once you click on that, it will take you to that execution page. So you have to just need to click here, start. Then it will take you to that execution page. Okay, so this is the execution page for that test, for that test case. So you see, it says that not executed. So you didn't execute that before. What you need to do, we have to, you can say in progress. In progress, you basically don't need it. Let me go back to these steps. So the first step, it passed. Second step also passed. Third step, let's say this all are one step. Let's say this is also passed. So when you click on this pass, then your whole execution is passed. Now, if you want to go back and check, then it will show you that steps, that execution there. In the execution tab, now you will see that you run that test case and it passed. Or if any of the step failed, then you can also mark that as failed. Huh. So this is the one, right? First one. And you see this one, once it's run and it passed, it will show you as like green. Now let's go back to this inside this test case and then click on this execution. And now you'll see one entry here. You run this test case for one time and it was passed. Now if you want to run it again, you can just click here, then run it again. And this time you see this one is passed, this one is failed. And for that one, it will not execute it because it is blocked because it failed. Or let's say it's something. No, there is no other option. Not executed. Let's say not executed because this one is failed. Step 2 is failed. That's why you are not able to execute the third step. So what it will say? It will say fail. Right? Now let's go back to that again and see if it is showing something else. So you got the idea how to execute the test cases in Jira?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, okay. So I have a question. So didn't you say that you were gonna link it with something like an issue or a task? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Did you have to do that?
I think so. In this case, yes.
So I didn't see you linking it with any other issue.
I linked it. This one I linked it.
You linked it. Okay. So you.
Let me
Okay.
show you again. So this test case that this one I linked with another story. That is this story. Okay, where is that? This story. So this is the verify. No, this is the one. Create test cases for. So I linked with this one.
Oh, I don't see that. Which one? Okay.
Create test cases. So if you see here, coverage, under the coverage, it says that which test case is linked with this task.
Oh, okay. So you went to the board and you linked it with that, right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, that was the problem I was having. But what I did is after your instruction, I created the task first and then it went from there. It's the same thing, right?
Same thing. I have the existing task. That's why I just picked it. But if you want to create a new task and you want to link that, you can also do that.
Okay.
Just
Now I'm clear. Thank you. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
no problem. Okay, so this is the way how you will do the job in the project as well, the same way. So you will have a story, or you will have a task, and for that task or for that story, you have to add a test cases. Let's say that the developer is working on this one, user login. Let's say developer is developing this user login. For this task, for this story or task, you have to add a script, right? And you see this here is a linked issue, how many issues are there, and it's also add this. I think I added this one, so I also added this test case for this story. Got it? Oh, I didn't. I think I didn't have done that. Someone else did that. I don't see the name here. No, I don't see the name here. But someone else did that. Okay, but this is fine. But do you have any question here? Okay, so if you don't have any questions, so once we are able to understand the test plan, then I will come back again in this Jira board, and then I'll show you that how this thing works in case like if your project is not following that documents like Microsoft Word document to create the test plan. So you can also do that here. You can also create a test plan here like this. Okay, so we'll do that. But before that, you have to understand the document first. So how the document look like, and what are the components you have to keep that in the test plan. So we'll check that. Let's go back to our slides. So I believe you don't have any question. Again, I'm asking. So do you have any question from any topic or from previous sessions? No. Okay. So we did it until this end-to-end testing, and after that, today is the new thing we have to learn. That is, we have one more testing. It's called boundary testing. Boundary testing is something like you know that some of the website they ask your phone number, right? Like any website. For example, like if you are trying to log into the system, register. Sorry. For example, register to Amazon.com, register to the Amazon.com, and it will ask you a phone number, right? And in that phone number text box, you'll be only be able to insert 10 digit, right? 10 digit phone number. Am I right? If I'm not wrong. Let's go back to this Yahoo sign up. Yahoo sign up, create an account. It will ask you, okay, where's the phone number? Please. Okay. Okay, let me check if they have it, this option here in their website. So there should be option for phone number. Okay, phone number. So let's say that anything like 555-999-7777. So how many digits I can insert? So in US, how many digits we have in one phone number?
10 phone number, 10 digits.
10 digits, right? So if you see here, I have inserted 10 digits. 3, 3, 6, 6, and plus 4, 10. Now I have to check that if I can insert more than that or not. I can insert. So boundary for this text box supposed to be 10 digits, but it's allowing me to insert more than 10 digits. So it's not properly configured. You got the point?
Yes.
Okay.
But for international phone number, some countries do have maybe 11 or 12 digits.
Yeah, that is correct. But in this case, if I select the country US, then it's supposed to take 10-digit phone number.
Correct.
Okay, so this is kind of like boundary. Like if you are allowed to insert 10-digit, but it's allowing you to, like, it's accepting more than 10 digit, that means that you are trying something that is going over the boundary. So that kind of thing, that kind of testing we also have to perform, and that is boundary testing. So it's supposed to take 10 digit, but if it is take 9 digit, will it be acceptable?
No.
No, right? Yes, that is correct. So because if I select the US, if I select the country US, then it's supposed to take 10 digits. So if any user inserted 9 digits, then going to that any other text box is supposed to show you in red that you have inserted less than 10 digits, or you have inserted wrong phone number, something like that. So it is kind of like boundary testing we can perform. You got the idea about the boundary testing? Any question from the boundary testing? Okay. Compatibility testing. There is one more testing. For example, you have created an application, and that application is only supporting for Android. It's not supported. It's not supporting in iOS. iOS means that Apple phone, like iPhone or any Apple device, it's not working that kind of devices. So that's mean that we also have to perform this compatibility testing to check if that application is compatible to any operating system, or for example, if this website, if you see this website, if this website is only you can access through browser, Chrome browser, and you are not able to access this page by Firefox, that means that there is a compatibility issue, right? That means that this application is not compatible to all of the browsers. So we also have to check that. So this is one of the important testing that we perform, that is cross-browser testing. What's cross-browser testing is, we have to check if the application is behaving as the same in different browsers or not. So that is cross-browser testing. So usually you will see that, you will understand that when we will do the automation. But for now, the compatibility testing is if you are trying to check something in the different software, different app, browser, different app, operating system, if it is compatible for all of them or not, and that is compatibility testing. Okay. Now, I think I already told you. How many of you have remembered this one that I told you to show you the environments? Anyone? If you forget, then it is a good thing for me that I don't need to show you. Okay, so this is our website. This is our website, and this website is accessible by any people, right? Any people from any around the world, from any place. Am I right? You can access this website from your phone, from any browser, right? Now, when this website was developing, some developers developed this one, right? And when they're developing, at the time they put this one in their environment, in the developer environment, to see that if it is working as they're developing part or not, like as they wish to develop this application or not, as the same way or not. Let's say that they are developing, but they don't know that this logo is in the top left corner or not. So they have to check that, right? And for that reason, developers have their own environment, and that we call dev environment. Okay, that we call dev environment. So how the dev environment look like? So I just configured the domains, but I didn't put any pages there, but I will put that. So you'll be able to see that next week, all these pages in that domain. So I just show you that how it works, how the environments concept works. So what the developers will do, developer will push their this thing, this page in their environment, something like this. So this is their environment. You see this one? It says that dev.itsurface.com. So they will, after their working is done, their development is done, they will push their code here in dev.itsurface.com. And they will do some basic checking that if this one is looking like as expected or not, like the icon, the text boxes, the buttons are there or not. They will just do the unit testing only. They will not perform any like testing like we do as a tester, like details testing. They will not do that. They will just check that if this icon is showing or not, if these things are showing, this writings, this words are showing or not. They will not check if there is a spelling mistake or not. They will not do that. This is a tester's job. So tester will check that, but they will just do the basic testing. Okay. Once they are done, once they say they find like everything is fine and there is no issue in their case, they will what they will do, they will push the same code to the testing environment. So the testing environment is look like this. It will be test.itsurface.com. So only tester is allowed to test here in this testing environment. So they will check that this application, everything here, they will find everything here and they will perform the testing like we are doing manually, like clicking something or typing something in the text box, or like what else, like checking the words, the spelling mistakes. So these are the things, these are the testing we'll perform in our testing environment, and you will see the URL something like this, test.itsurface.com, something like this. Okay, so the idea, the concept I already gave you about with the Amazon, that is if you are working with the Amazon.com, then you will be able to access dev, if you are a developer, you will be able to access dev.amazon.com. If you are a tester, you will be able to access test.amazon.com. If you are a product owner, if you are a BA, then you will be able to access the uat.itservice.com. Okay, so this is our environment. This is our website where we created this domain, subdomain, and then we can like develop our pages here. Now, this is test.itservice.com. You will perform all the testing here in this environment, and in this environment you will see all the pages that I have here that the developer have developed. Everything here, everything is here in the test.itservice.com. Once you're done with the testing, and if you don't find any issue, then the developer will push the same code or pass the same code to the UAT. We already know about the UAT, right? We already know about the UAT. UAT is the environment where the product owner or business analyst perform the testing. Because before they release the product, before they send the product to that user, they will do some testing. And this is the environment where they will come and test that. So after the testers are done with their testing, then they will push this code to the UAT. So product owner or business analyst, they will perform the testing. Once they are done and they say that everything looks good, only then it will publish, and you will be able to see the main application like this. So this is the 4 environments like usually we work with. First, developer works in that environment, and developer create that pages there and do some basic testing that we call unit testing. After that, they push the code to the test. Testers goes there and then test the application. If everything looks good, then they will move to the UAT. But if the tester find any issue, then they have to log a defect. They have to talk with the developer and log a defect, right? So we have a slide for log a defect. So after a couple of slides, so you will understand about the log defect and about the bug and log the problem. And once you're done, the testers are done with the testing, then they will pass the developers will pass the code to the UAT. And in UAT, the product owner or the business analyst perform this testing. So this is the place. It will be look like as like a mirror of your main application. You see that this is our main application. So it will be look like as the same UAT. Okay. So any question from the environments? This is very important thing because when you will be working, you will be definitely testing the in the test environment, not in any other environment. But sometime they will ask you that did you perform the testing in UAT? You can say yes, I did that. Sometimes the product owner or business analyst, if they are not available, then I perform that UAT testing. It's the same thing. Whatever the testing you are performing here, you have to make sure that everything is same, and it's it's covering all the requirements. In UAT, basically they check the requirements are fulfilling or not. So any question from the environment?
So for the UAT testing, so it will be tested in the customer side, right? The users in the customer side, right?
Customer side means that did you mean the real users?
Yeah.
So the real users will get this one. Only itsurface.com, and there is nothing there. The real users. So UAT will be performed by the product owner. Before they publish this application to the real user, they will perform the testing here in uat.itsurface.com.
Okay. Okay, I see. Okay, I gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, good one. Is there any other question? You understood, right? No questions? Okay, so I will take that as a you don't have any questions. So I'll move forward. So this is basically the environments that mostly, in most of the cases, you will be working only in test environment, mostly. So the environment URL will be provided by the team, and you will be working on that environment or the URL with the URL. Okay. In short, okay. So the thing is, in every project, they have 4 environments. One is dev environment, that the developer, when the developer is done there with their work, they will put their code in dev environment, and they will do the basic testing. That's called unit testing. When they will perform the unit testing and they will not find any issue, then they will put the same code to the test environment. In the test environment. Now, when they are done, when they put this code to the test environment, then they will notify the testers, and the tester will go there and start the testing. So the tester will go there, and whatever the stories they have for testing, they will perform that testing. If they find any issue, then they have to say that they find an issue. They have to, you already know about this Jira board, create, and then they have to verify that if there is really defect or not, issue or not. So they have to create a bug, and for the bug you have to provide all this information, like a summary, in the description I already showed you what you need to do. Like, you have to write down some description, all the steps to reproduce that bug, expected and actual. And if you see here, environment, where did you get this bug? Which environment? Anyone? Now you got the idea about the environment.
Test environment.
Test environment, because you are supposed to test in test. So it's a test environment. In the test environment, because you are performing the testing in the test environment and you find the issue in the test environment, so in the environment you have to write test. That's it. So, and at any other case, if it's like a high priority thing, you have to make this a highest. If it is like severity high, so I will talk about this one when we will talk about the bug or defect. I'll talk about this one, severity. Then you have to assign that to the person who is responsible for. So you can find out the person from the list from your the team. The developer name will be pop up here, so you have to select the developer name, and that's it. And you can also relate that to any story that is the developer worked on, so you can also relate that. So this is the thing that you have to perform. What if you find any issue? If you don't find any issue, then the testing environment is fine, the testing is done, then you have to notify that the testing is done and I didn't find any issue. So then they will put that code to that UAT. Now when it goes to the UAT, the product owner will verify again. The product owner or business analyst, they will verify these things again. And once they find everything is good and there is no issue, then they will pass it to that real users. So it's basically like, after you're performing the testing, make sure that you perform the testing very well, because if you don't find that issue and product owner find that issue, then it's not a good thing. You should have it's not like good understanding of the application. It's kind of like you have to think how many different ways I can test. You always have to think you have to break the system. You are there to break the system. They hired you to break the system, so that if you break the system, if you are able to break the system, that means that the real user will be able to break the system. So if you break the system, developer will fix that. And once you are not able to break the system, then no user will be able to break the system. In case the real user break the system, that means that you are not a good tester. Even though they will not blame the product owner or business analyst, because they will perform some basic testing. They will not do like whole testing. And yes, when you will perform the regression testing, if it's an automation, then they will use the same script to do the testing in UAT as well. Okay, so we'll learn that later about this the running the automation in different environment. We'll learn that later. Okay, but for now, just think about this. You are a tester and you are responsible only for this test environment. Okay, and whenever you are working, make sure that you are thinking like you have to break the system. You have to think all different ways. Now let's go back to this one. So compatibility testing, everything is done. This boundary testing is done. Now this is the developer part. Developer goal is to how the developer can make it. And here the tester part. The tester's part is how can I break it? That I just said, right? So you always have to think in this way. So if you think like you are getting, you are finding too many defects and developer will be mad on you, no. Okay. Now tell me, who is right here?
Tester is right here.
How?
Because in the picture, tester and developer looks like same.
Not likely. Like for developer, it have only 3 years, and for tester, they have like 6.
Oh, you're true.
Okay, so who is right here? Anyone?
Who is right here? Like, what should I have to find actually over here?
Who is right here? Developer or tester? That is my question.
In which point of view they are right or wrong?
I don't know about that, but you have to answer something.
Okay, in this case, I am going to be tester, so I will always try to find out the problem. So I will definitely go for the tester. Tester is right. Developer is wrong.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I got some answers here. So in the chat box as well. So here the developer, based on 6, the developer created the 6. The tester find that it was 9, and the developer created like 9, right? So it's kind of like based on that perspective, and they both are following one single document. Can anyone tell me what is the document name is?
Test case document requirement.
No. Already one person answered here in the chat box.
Oh, the BRD.
Yes, that is correct. BRD. So the developer is creating or developing the application based on the BRD. So the developer is going back to the BRD, checking the requirement and creating the application, right? And what the tester is doing? Tester is going to that BRD, checking the requirement and testing that based on the requirement. You got my point? Both are pointing to the same document, BRD. Now in this case, developer develops something and tester is testing something, right? In this case, both are right, but they have to find out, someone needs to find out that what is the actual requirement is. And the person who is going to find out is the tester. Okay, because it's possible like a developer might got like a new BRD document. It's possible like new updated document, but tester doesn't have that. So tester have to find out, is there any new document published, or is there any new document provided by the product owner to the developer? So they have to check the BRD first, that is that the same version or different version or updated version. If there is a same version, and then the tester found that, okay, so you have to create 9 but you created 6. It didn't follow the requirement. If the developer says, no, I saw that it's 6, so I created that as 6, then the tester needs to talk with the product owner or business analyst. So I found that in the requirement it says that the developer needs to create 9, but developer created 6. So what should we do now? So they will check the requirement, they will talk with you and the developer, they will come to a conclusion that what they are going to, what they have to create. So this is kind of like in the same thing, the depend on the perspective can be right. The developer created that based on his perspective or her perspective. The tester, when the tester is testing, can also be right because the tester is following the BRD. So they have to make sure that they are creating the correct application, right application. Okay. Now, we already learned about the SDLC, right? How many phases we have in SDLC? Did you already forget that? Yes, 6 phases, right? So there is one more life cycle in project development. In project development we have, that is STLC. Everything is same except this. It's a development for SDLC and testing for STLC. So we also need to follow this life cycle, and it's very simple. It's very simple. First of all, you have a requirement document and you have to analyze the requirement. You have to analyze the requirement. That is the first phase. Then you have to, based on the requirement, you have to do the planning. If you remember that what we did in the SDLC is kind of like almost the same thing. At first, you are analyzing the requirement. Then, based on the analysis, you are creating the planning, like what kind of things you will do, what will be the tools you needed, who will perform. Let's say that you have 3 testers in your team. So who will perform which story, or will perform which functionality, right? So this kind of planning we need to do. After the analysis, we have to do the planning. Once your planning is done, then let's say that I have 3 testers in my team, including me, and we have to test 8 functionality. I'm taking 3, another tester is taking 3, and another tester, the remaining tester, took like 2 of them. So its total 8 is divided between 3 testers. Now it's my responsibility to create the test cases on my 3 script, right? 3 functionality. Other testers also need to create test cases on that functionality, 3 functionalities, and other tester need to create 2 test cases based on that functionality, 2 functionalities. So every person is divided on the functionalities to work on, and they have to create this test case document. That is we doing test design, test case document. We create the test case document. Now, once you create the test case document, then you are ready for testing. But you don't know that what kind of tools you needed. You might need to install a new software to test that, or you might need to add something like new data for the testing. So we need to do this environment setup to test that application or test that functionality. So this is the part that we do, environment setup. After that, if the development is done, if the developer is done with the development, then it comes to the test execution. So you have a test case ready. Now you have to start testing it. So once you are done with the testing, then what you'll do? Like you have to perform 3 test cases, right? You have to execute 3 test cases. Based on all of these test cases, it passed. Now, what you'll do with that, the past test cases? You have to report someone, right? That I need I had to test these three functionalities. I did that and it's working. So you have to you have to provide a report, right? You have to give a report to your team, your manager or your scrum master, someone. So that is falls under test closure, that is test report. Once you're done with that the testing, you have to send the report that out of the 3 tests, all 3 tests are passing, or 2 are passing, 1 is failing. So you have to provide the report, and that is test closure. So this is also very important thing for the interview, that do you know the STLC? So you have to say the full form of the STLC, and they might ask you the phases of STLC. So you have to give all these phases sequentially. So you cannot give that, okay, so test execution, test planning, test design, test closure. No, you cannot do that. So it should be in a sequential format, starting from here. Number 1, requirement analysis. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how I will relate these things, all these phases when I'm working? That is the question, right? Is this your question, or is this something like I am thinking that you need it?
No, this is also a question important. Thanks.
Okay. So then let's understand that where these things will come in the picture when you are working. So you are in the first day in the sprint planning, right? And in the sprint planning, the developers is they are taking that stories or the task and adding that in the sprint, right, to develop. And based on that, you have to think, okay, for this task, developer is taking like 2 days to complete this task. So it might be like a little complex. So I will take 1 day for testing. 1 day for testing, okay? So if the developer is taking 4 days, just take 2 days for testing. But it depends on the application, depends on the functionality. So you cannot just take like 2 days if it is like very small functionality to test it. So you have to understand that part. That is different. But when you are in sprint planning, after that, the developers are developing what you are doing. They might be taking like 5 to 6 days to develop something and hand over to you for testing. But in these 5 6 days, what you're doing? Will you go to the beach and then enjoy the summer vacation?
No, I will read out the requirements and try to prepare myself what might be come for my hand to the testing.
Yes, that is true. So you have to understand the requirement that the developer is working. You have to understand the stories. And once you are understanding the stories, after you're done with that, the analysis part is done, then you have to create a document. That document name is test plan document. Test plan document. So we'll have a slide for that test plan document later, but that is a test plan document. So test plan document, in that document usually we mention that who is going to work on which functionality, like which testing of which tester is going to test which functionality, what kind of tools you're going to use for testing, then what kind of testing you are going to test, after that environment, and all these things that we insert in that document. This is like a small, like a 2 3 pages document. It's a test plan document. It will tell you, it will tell that the management or the team that who is going to work on what, and what are the things that you are going to do. Like it will answer 5 questions. So we'll check that, we'll see that. Okay. So once you're done with the test plan document, this is a planning document, then you have to start writing the test cases.
Sorry for interrupt over here. So
Yes.
in test case planning time, based on the requirement, I will be able to take decisions. If the project testing will be too hard, I can ask for more time. Instead of 2 days, I might be need 3 days, right?
No, usually we set that time in beginning of the sprint. We'll say that we might need that amount of time, but if it takes more than that, then we'll talk later about that. So when you will be doing that, when you will be performing that testing, and you will see that you might need more time, then you can change it later. You just need to ask the Scrum Master, so it's taking more than that I expected. Can you please increase that? They will do that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so after your test planning is done, then you have to write the test cases. So based on the story, you have to prepare your test case, like what you did here, right? Once your test case is done, then you have to make your environment setup. Means that your computer should be ready. Like if you don't have a browser, you need to install the browser. If you don't have a permission to access that page, you need to take that permission. So these are the things, the environment setup, you have to do that. Once this is done, then you are ready for testing. So this takes around like 3-4 days, like almost 5 days to complete all these things. And then the developer will pass that the functionality to you to test. Then you have to start testing based on your test case. So once you are done with this testing, then you have to create a report. So in my case, I supposed to test 3 functionality. I tested them and all are working fine. So this is kind of like report you are creating, and this report you are submitting to your team. You got the idea about the sprint, and in the sprint how you will work? Any question here?
Till now, no.
Okay. Okay, so that's mean you understood this STLC. Let's then try to figure it out that what are the phases and SDLC we have and what are the phases in STLC side by side, then you will understand. So it's the requirement gathering, you are doing the requirement analysis. After that is the analysis phase and you are doing the test plan. After that it's a design and you are creating the test cases. When the coding is part, development part is here, you are doing the test environment setup. And when it's part of the testing, you are doing the test execution. That is the testing, actual testing. Then when it's the deployment, you are doing the test closer. That is creating the report. So if you just try to think that in the SDLC you have 6 phases, in STLC you have to do the same thing but in a different way. Then you'll be not having any issue with the STLC. Okay. So,
One thing.
yes.
In the slide, it's supposed to be SDLC and STLC. Is it right? SLDC?
Oh, sorry. This will be SDLC. Sorry.
It's okay.
This gonna get mistake. Okay, so it's a typing mistake. You see that you are a good tester.
Oh no.
No, so these are the thing. Like this is a typing mistake. So this is a good testing. Like as a developer, if I'm developing and I'm making a typing mistake, that is like a bad thing. Why? Because let's say that you are in Amazon.com and in the developer made a mistake in a typing mistake. So like AMZAON. What does this mean? It's nothing, right? It's like something else. So Amazon, it should be AMAZON, Amazon, right? So this is a typing mistake, and that I know that developer have to fix that.
It's just a slip of pen.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, SDLC is a fundamental part of SDLC. Is a part of that SDLC which tests software to and ensures quality standards are met. Okay, it generally involves both verification activities and validation activities. Means that when you are performing the testing, you are doing the verification and also the validation of the requirements. So we'll have one more extra slide for this one to understand what is verification and validation. Okay. Different activities are executed in a specific order throughout the software testing process. So different activities. Activities means that the requirement analysis, test plan creating, test case creating, test execution. So these are the things that different activities you have to perform in a specific order. You see that this is a specific order, so you need to understand, you need to remember this order. Okay, now if you put that in side by side, and if you see that in SDLC, what are the things that it's basically SDLC for the whole project, and STLC is for the testing part only. You see that this is for the whole project and this is for the testing part only. The focus of this STLC only for the testing part. So in the testing, what are the things that you can do? And from this SDLC, the product deployment, we get a product, actual product from the team. And from STLC, we get the test results. So these are the outputs that you get. And other things you can read it, but it's actually like these are the basic difference between the SDLC and STLC. And this will be enough for you. But if you go more than that, you can also read that, which is fine. And if you need to understand about this thing, then I can explain to you again, no problem. Okay, now comes to that test plan. So as I mentioned already, that test plan is a document, right, that we have to create. In that document, these are the questions that we have to answer. These 6 questions. Why we have to perform this kind of testing? What are the functionalities we are going to test? And like who is going to test which functionality? How we are going to test it? When we are going to test it? Where we're going to test? Where means that which environment we are going to test it. So if you can answer these 6 questions, then you will be able to create any test plan. And I will also share one like test plan document with you, so that you will get the idea that how the test plan look like. Okay, but right now let me show you, if I can, from here. Test plan. Okay, so I think, oh, this is the one. Yeah, let me share that. Let me show you that this one, and then I will also share this document with you, so that you will get the idea about this one. Okay, for some reason I'm having issue with this Microsoft Office. Okay, so it's not working. So I'll share that with you, no problem. Let me try it one more time. Okay, so it's working, no problem. So once it's done, then I will show you that what is the document is. But for now, these are the questions that we have to answer in the test plan document. As I said, that this is a planning document, right? And I already mentioned that what you are going to insert in that document, like why you need to do this testing, what are the testing you will perform, who will perform which test. So these are the things that we have to answer. And these are the components we need to create this test plan document. I think this open here, yes. So this is a test plan document. Let me show you in a bigger format. Okay, so usually the first is for the information of your project, the version of the test plan, something like this, and then is start from here, where you have to give some information of like who created this test plan document, who approved this document, if there is a reference for this document or not, and it starts from here, the table of contents. So what are the things that we have to keep? Everything is here in this document. Okay, so these are the main things that we have to keep in our test plan document, and you will get all this information from your project. Don't worry about this document, like you have to create a test plan document. So in the interview they might ask you, do you have experience creating test plan document? You can say yes. So we have a format, we have a template, and based on that I create a test plan document. You can do that. So let's say that if I give you this template, you can create your own test plan document, right, on any software, on any application. So usually the big companies, they have a test plan document template, and you have to follow that. You cannot just create any test plan document. They have a template and you have to follow that. Most of the big companies.
Work environment, every company have the different template for their
Yes,
organization.
in case some company doesn't have that, and some company doesn't follow that template. So what you do? You can say yes. Till now I followed some template, but I can also create that because I know that what are the components we need in test plan document. So these are the components. You just need to mention these components. Most of the time you have to mention this is the mandatory. Some of the things are mandatory, like objective, project overview, test planning, test design, test execution, defect management, test reporting, automation approach if there is needed, otherwise no, risk management, and tools. So you have to mention a couple of them at least: the objective, the project overview, test planning, test design, test execution, defect management. If you find any defect, what you're going to do? So that is the defect management. Then how you'll create the report. Then risk management. That is definitely you should like insert in your like answer. And the tools, that the tools that you're going to use. If you see, all the 6 questions are here.
What is number 3 over here?
Number 3 is the assumption. So when you are testing it, so what kind of assumption, like what kind of scenario you might be using? So usually we don't need that, but if you want, you can also keep that assumptions.
I just asking because I see this one in the plan new, so that's why.
Plan new. Oh, over there, here in this
So
document.
I saw this is the something new in the test plan, so that's why I was just asking the
Yes.
assumption.
Yes, I got it. So this is something like not in every places you will get that, but if you have that, you can just say that what are the assumptions you have for that testing. Okay, so this is the test plan document that usually we use, like at least the components we use in the manual test cases. But if you have an automation test case for automation test plan you have to create, then you can also use these things, and you can also add something like the automation planning, automation design, automation execution, then test automation reporting. So when you run the automation, it will automatically create the report. So what are the way you will get the report? So these are the thing extra that you can insert in that document. So it's fine if you just stick with one, with the test plan only. You just need to remember a couple of things here from these components, only couple of things. So there is no like serial here. Whatever way you want to say, you want to give that answer, you can do that. At least give that names like objective, overview, test planning, design, execution, risk management, tools, and who will perform what. So you can also what is that called, resource. So there is one thing missing here in this list, that is resources. So resources means that how many testers we have for this test execution, for this test planning. So you have to insert this resources here. Okay, so this is the test plan document, and this is, we already know that test case document, and we already created our own test case document template. So in case if you go to that project, in any project, there will be almost the same thing, the same test case template they will follow. So you know the basic, now you can work with any test case document. Okay. So any question here? So these are the, sorry, let me finish this one. So these are the attributes we have in test case document. So test case ID, test case name, test case description, pre-condition, post-condition. Post-condition is not mandatory, but sometimes we need that. Test data, test steps, expected result, actual result, test result, date executed by that. Usually we keep that in the top of that test case. But these are the things that we have. So do you have any question from this STLC, test plan, and test case?
Not really from that, but just wanted to ask in Jira or Excel, whenever we write test cases, is it okay to write in all caps,
All caps means that
all capital, like uppercase letters?
it's not necessary, and usually we don't create that with all uppercase letters.
No, I'm saying like it looks nice. Instead of going, sometimes, it's okay, right? I mean, we can do that. That should not be a problem, right?
That should not be a problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And it's also fine, like if you are creating with all uppercase letter, then your team will let you know that can you please change it to that format, or they will let you know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Because let's say that in your you have work on like previously you work on two projects, and both of the project you work you used capital letter in all of the cases, like the headers and subheaders you used capital letters. Now in your new project, they are not following that approach. You created that, they will tell you to change it to that their format. Okay, so that is not an issue. Okay, so any other question from these things, like from this test STLC, test plan, and test case document? No? Okay, so from here, what are the interview questions are? STLC, the phases of STLC. Sometimes they go more deeper and they ask that what you do in each and every phase. Sometimes, but usually they don't put that much of effort to ask you that question, because it's gonna take extra time when you start answering. So you know that in requirement analysis, what you do. So if you go each and every phase, it's gonna take like 3-4 minutes, and that's they don't want to waste their time on that one. So usually they ask only the phases, and what exactly why you need this STLC. Just answer one of this or two of this, then you will be fine. Then if they ask you what is the difference between SDLC and STLC, so SDLC is for the whole project, STLC is for only for testing part, right? And we get the product in SDLC, and we get the report, the test results in SDLC. And after that, test plan. When you remember this picture, in this picture basically is pointing 6 questions, 6 things, right? Why, what, who, how, when, and where. So usually we can create question based on these 6 things, right? Based on these 6. So if you just try to remember these 6, then you will be able to answer your test plan document. Okay. So in test plan document, we have to mention why we are doing this testing, then what things we are going to test, who is going to test what, and then how we are going to test, when we are going to test, where we are going to test. These are the things. So if you just try to remember that this test plan is basically all these 3 questions you are answering, 6 questions you are answering, then you will be fine. Okay. Just remember, try to remember this picture. And if you want to go more on that, then try to remember a couple of these components from here as well. This is for manual, this is for automation. Test case document, you already know about all these attributes. So it's 8:16. Let's take a break, and then after the break we'll go move forward and we'll learn this document. This is the extra document that you need to know. We'll do that after the break. Okay, so we are until down to this point. Now let's take a break for 20 minutes. Okay, so what is time is 8:16. Let's come back at 8:35. Okay, don't be late. 8:35.
This conference will now be recorded.
So I'm expecting some question here. So do you have any question for me? Any question till this? We'll just cover only 3 topics, right? And from out of these 3 topics, you already know how to create the test case document and what are the column headers we have to keep for test case document, right? Right now we just learn a new topic. One is STLC. STLC is almost like the same as SDLC, but it has like different phases, and you have to remember the spaces sequentially. And what you do in these phases, if you just read the name, then you will also understand that what are the things that you do. Other than that, we also learn about the test plan document. So in test plan document, in case if you forget everything from this one, just remember these 6 questions, then you'll be able to answer that question. Okay, remember this one. Any question or anything that we can go over again? Nothing? Okay, so if you don't have any question, let's start the new topic. Not new topic, it's another document. Okay, so before I move into this document, let me ask you here one thing. This one. Okay, so the developer is developing the application, and what is the document that he was following or she is following? I know you already gave me the answer. That is correct. So BRD is the document that the developer is following to create this application. Now tester is also following the same document to write the test cases and to test the application. Am I right? Okay. I'm making it clear again. Then I will move to that one. BRD is the document. BRD is the document that the developer is following to develop that application or create that application. Testers are also following. Testers are also following the same document to create the test case and test the application. Now, just think about that. They are following the same document. Now, in your case, you are following the BRD. Based on the BRD, you are creating the test case document. Now, how the team members will know that how many test cases you have created based on the BRD. Let's say that in BRD they have like 100 requirements, and in this 100 requirements, there is a possibility like the requirement 1 you might have created only 1 test case. For requirement 2, you might have created 3 test cases. This is possible. For one requirement, you might have created like multiple test cases. This is possible. Now, how your team member will know that how many requirements you have covered till now, the test cases you have created, how many these test cases, all these test cases, how many requirements you have covered. from the BRD. For that thing, to show that the coverage, that how many test cases you have written to cover which requirements and how many requirements, for that we have a document called RTM. In short, it's RTM. The full is Requirement Traceability Matrix. So this is kind of like matrix. Matrix is kind of like, let me create another one if it allows me to do that. Oh no. Okay, it didn't allow me to do that. Okay, but it's fine. So matrix is kind of like this. You have this BRD, and you have all these requirements written here, and you have like test case documents. You have one test case, like you also have a lot of test cases you already have created. Let's say that you have created 10 test cases now, or 15. Let's say 15. 4, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there should be a matrix. So if you remember that we have this kind of books where you have to match. So if it is a let's say that this is a circle, right? This is a circle. This is square. This is a rectangle. Now if I say here square, if I say here rectangle, and if I say here circle, now you have to match. How you match it? You will match it like this, am I right? Like this?
Yes.
So this is the same concept goes to here. So you have a test cases, you have like a lot of test cases. Now you have to match that with your requirement. So let's say that this is the test case 1, and this test case is basically covered this requirement. You have these two test cases. You have these two test cases. These two test cases basically covers this requirement. This test case might cover this one. This test case might cover this one. So this is kind of like matrix, right? So you're trying to match something from the right side to left side. For that reason, we need a document which basically shows that how many requirements you have covered, right, the test cases, and how many are remaining. So that is basically shows the coverage of your test cases. So let me go back to the one again. So this is the one, and this is, let me show you this picture first. So this is the requirement document matrix, traceability matrix, where you will see here, this is a requirement, business requirement 1, and this is a functional requirement IDs, like if it is like more than one story, so more than one task they have to complete. This is the separate task. Based on one requirement, there can be like multiple tasks or multiple story, right? That we already discussed about that in the previous session. And for each and every requirement, you see that I might have like one test case or multiple test case, which is possible, right? So this is one test case. These two test cases basically cover this one. These two, 3 and 4 covers this one. 5 and 6 cover this one, and this, all these 6 test cases are related to this business requirement 1. Now this is in serial, but this also can be like in a other order, right? You can just create one more requirement. It's a BRD3, BR3, but the test case might be like 50. It might be added later. This is possible. So this is the document that how your test cases are matching with your requirement document, and then it will show that how many test cases you have covered. So what is the coverage of your test cases? Okay, so this is one of the document that we also have to create. Okay, you got the idea? It's kind of like mapping document. So mapping between the BRD and test case document, test cases. Any question here? Do they do it manually? For manual test cases, yes, but for this one, let me check where is that. For this one, if you see here, we also have a traceability matrix in Jira scale. If you see, let me go to that place. Yes, I saw that, right? So reports, I think it's under reports, traceability. You see that here, traceability. So this we can also go here and do that traceability matrix here. It's this project, and if you want, you can also generate. You can do a lot of things here in Jira. Okay. Any other question from here, from this document? So every time if you try to learn something, try to visualize that what is exactly that it says. Like try to visualize that and then try to understand that what they're saying. Don't try to go and check it first, then you might not understand that. But if you visualize that what is meaning, what is doing, then it will be easy for you to understand that what they're saying here. That's why I always try to understand the picture, and then if I understood the picture, then I will go and check the details. So it says that RTM is a document to keep track of requirement coverage over testing. You see that we already covered that. In RTM, all requirements are classified as their development during the sprint and their corresponding IDs. So IDs means that the specific IDs of any requirements or test cases are maintained to track everything mentioned in the requirement document implemented before the product release. So it's kind of like a very long line, the sentence. Instead of that, it's kind of like the same IDs followed over so that you can track that test cases with that. So RTM is made as soon as the requirement document is received and maintained until the product release. So all the time we maintain this document. So and again, why we maintain this document? Why we need to create this document or why we need to maintain this document? Can anyone tell me?
To match with the BRD.
To match with the BRD, but if it's only just for the matching with the BRD, then I don't need it, right? I know that how many test cases I have created. I know that which are the requirements I have covered. I already mentioned that. If anyone got that, they can answer. I mentioned that a couple of times. Anyone? Coverage.
Not sure.
Coverage. It shows your team that how many test cases you have created for the requirements. So basically, it shows the coverage. So your team will know that for 100 requirements, you already have created 60 test cases. So 60% test cases written are already done. You already have created. Now 40% are remaining.
Shortcut we can say that like how many progress we did.
Yes, it's also kind of like progress. They will see your progress. When you maintain this document, they will also see your progress. Okay, so any questions from this documents thing? No? Okay, so today I'm not going to show you the things in Jira for this document. I'll show you that on Monday. Monday will be our wrap-up class for manual testing. But what you're going to do after today is you need to understand some basic of these documents. Just try to understand what these documents are for and what do you need that. Why we need
Excuse me, class will be on Monday or next Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yes. Sorry, did I mention Monday? I'm sorry for that. So usually it's Tuesday and Thursday. So if I mention some other day, just ignore that.
It's okay.
Sometimes because I'm talking too much, so it comes out of my mind that I'm saying Monday. Okay. Okay. So just try what these documents are and why you need this document. Try to understand that, and once you understand that, then it will be easy for you to deliver that in an interview. Okay. Then I will show you that what you can do, how you can maintain this document in Jira. Now, I have to go back again on some testing. Okay, so we will learn some more testing types that usually we perform. Okay, so if you see here, we have three boxes. One is black box, another is gray box, the other one is white box. Let's say that I'm giving you a black box, and because this is a black box, you cannot see anything. And I'm saying that if I gave like some plastic on this black box, it will give you. It's supposed to give you a pen, for example. So from plastic, I'm producing a pen. Now, because this is a black box and you will not be able to see what is going inside that, how it's creating this plastic, this pen from the plastic. So what will be your approach for the testing? Can anyone tell me? I'm just saying that this is my box where I will put some input as a plastic as an input, and output will be a pen, and with that pen you will be able to write. Now, what will be your approach for testing that? Testing that product. Don't look at this picture. Don't look at this picture. Let's say that we don't have this picture. No, I mean that actually what you will do, like how you will test that pen. My question is that how you are going to test this one, not like sanity test or smoke test or regression test, nothing related to that. It's kind of like how you're going to test that pen.
You mentioned this pen like will be from plastic, so I will test that. Is that really this pen made of plastic or not, or this is inside the black box, so what will be the color of the pen? Is that the pen color will be also something like this? I'm not sure.
Okay. So you're almost there, and Onik, you're also there. You are checking the main functionality because the pen is supposed to write, which is the main functionality of the pen. Now, what are the other functionalities are? What is the size of the pen? What is the color of the pen? And what kind of color it will be when you write in the paper? So what kind of paper you can write? So these all are the like possible thing that you can test, right, with the pen. Not all the pen you can write in all the places, right? So that's also one more testing that you can perform. And why I will not say that as a sanity test or end-to-end test, because we're not thinking about that kind of testing types. We're kind of like understanding what other kind of testing we perform. Okay, so it's performing the testing. Sanity test is basically like the name. Okay, I got this functionality, I have to test it. The developer fixed an issue, I have to test it. So that is a sanity test. Smoke, if you are performing the major test. Now, how you are testing it? That is the thing, how you are testing it. So when I say that, this is my application, and this is in this application, it takes plastic as an input, and based on that input, it's the output is a pen, and you have to test it. Because you don't know what is inside in the black box, what is inside the box, and how the things working inside the box, you don't need to worry about that, right? Your focus is only to test that pen. Am I right?
Yes, right.
Okay. So in that kind of situation, when you don't know anything that how the things is working, how it's taking the plastic, how it's doing that inside, what are the things is going inside, that's mean that you have no idea about that application, but you're testing it, which is like not the application, is basically like how the structure of inside the box. That's the black box testing, because you don't know the structure of inside the black box, and you are testing the product. So that is a black box testing. You got the idea?
Yes.
Okay. Any question from here, from this black box testing?
Not a question. If we go little bit forward, the gray color box will be much more easier because
No, I'm not going. I'm not going to that part now. I will go to that one. But because, do you have any question on the black box? I will go one by one.
no.
Okay. Now let's not do that gray box. Okay, let's not do that. Let's do with the white box. Now I'm a developer, and my input is a plastic, output is a pen. Now I showed everything to you, that how everything is performing inside. So what is the structure of that the application, or what is the structure of the device, that how it's taking the plastic, it's reprocessing it, it's melting it, it's giving a specific size, it's painting to a specific color, then it's adding that the ink inside that pen, and then finally it's giving you the output. So you got the clear picture, right? So it's like it's kind of like you are putting the system in a glass, and in that glass you can see everything. Have anyone see anything like 3D painting?
Yes.
3D printing. So in 3D printing, you can see it's the printer is itself is in a glass, right? So what it's doing, you can see, right? What it's doing, you can see that. So it's kind of like it's, you don't know anything about like how exactly the what are the things is going on the bottom of that, or how its coding is there, but you know that how it's building, right? How it's printing something. So it's kind of like you have to think the same thing. White box testing is means like a glass. Everything you can see through that glass, and you can see that how these things are, whole things are processing. So that is white box testing.
Can I
So
see like can I mention it like this is front end testing, whatever I have, everything is visual for testing?
no. That is the thing I'm coming. One second. So it's kind of like you can see everything. So what you can see, the developer's code. So in the black box testing, you are not able to see anything. That means that whatever the developers have written to create that application, you don't have any idea. That is black box testing. But when The developer created that code like application, and you are able to understand the whole code, whatever the developer is doing. That is white box testing. So this is the boxing testing is basically like the concept of understanding the code and not understanding the code. When you fully understand the code, what the developers are doing, how they are developing the application, that is white box testing. And when you don't know, you don't have any idea about the coding, what the developers are doing, that is black box testing. You got it? Any question from this white box and black box? No, right? Okay. So if you understand the black box, that is you don't have any idea, and white box you have full idea. Now it will be easy for you to understand the gray box. Gray box is like you have some idea, not like white box, like your full idea, or no, not like a black box, like no idea. It's like some idea. So you know some of the codes that how the developers are working. The developers are developing the application. You have some idea about the code. That is gray box testing. It's the middle of black box and white box. Any question from this? Okay, so I'm taking as a no, but I'm not sure that the rest of you. The thing is, if you don't understand, you have to mention that you are not understanding, and if you are understanding, which is good for me and also for you, because you are here for learning, and if you are not understanding, this is my duty to give you that idea that how these things working, and I should have give you some other examples so that you can understand it. Okay, this is how this course structure works. Okay, whenever you have any question, whenever you have an issue to understand any topic, you have to ask me so that I can give you some other example so that you can understand. Okay, now usually in the interview they might ask you what is black box testing, what is white box testing. So you can just mention that in white box testing we have the idea of that application, the coding the developers are developing, and in black box we don't have any idea. That's it. That is enough for for the interview. But if you want to go more deeper, we can also go like it's a for black box test, so we perform testing without having knowledge of the internal structure, that's been the coding. But in white box you have full like strong knowledge of the internal structure, that's been coding. Higher level testing to check the application behavior and validate the whole system from the user perspective. So when you are doing the black box that you don't have any idea about the application, how it's working, that's when you are like testing as a like a user. But when you have an idea, then you are testing as a kind of like a developer. Then can be done by testers having no programming knowledge. If you have no programming knowledge, you can perform the black box testing. And for this one, you at least need good programming knowledge because you need to understand what the developers are doing. Provide simple test report, like you can just provide this pass or fail, it's working, something like that. For white box, you have to provide the detailed report. If any of the case that the application is not working, you have to find out the detailed report. Why it's not working? What is the issue? When this happened? In exactly which line is causing the issue? So you have to find the details. So that is the black box and white box testing difference.
Quick question.
Yes.
In reality, in the job time, do I really have to have very good knowledge about the coding?
No.
Because my role will be in the tester.
No. So mostly we'll perform the black box testing.
That was the answer. Thank you.
No problem. So mostly all of the testers we perform black box testing, but who have a good knowledge of the programming, they go more higher level, like some development positions they have like SDAT that I already showed you that SDAT role. So in that kind of position, they know what the developers are doing also. Okay, they have a good knowledge in the coding. But it's okay if you say that I only perform the black box testing because you don't know anything about the coding part, right? Development part. It's fine because you will not be hired as a developer. You will be hired as an automation tester. Now, this is something like positive and negative testing. So in positive and negative testing, same thing, I will go to that website here. In this website, this mobile phone number, if you insert only numbers, this is like a positive testing because this text box only supposed to take numbers. But if you insert something like this and it's taking it, that means that it's not working as expected. It should not take any alphabetic characters. So that is why we have to perform positive testing and negative testing. If you remember that we also have done that in sign-in thing. In sign-in, if you have a valid user and if you insert valid username, valid password, click on sign-in, it should log into the system. But if you insert valid username but invalid password, and if it is taking the user, if it is able to log in the user, then it's an issue. So you're performing negative testing here. You got the idea about that negative and positive? So you always have to perform positive testing as well as negative testing. Positive testing is a happy path. We know that this field is for numbers. We'll put that and then it will pass, which is fine. But what about the negative testing? What if the user insert invalid password and it's taking the user, it's allowing the user to log into the system? It's not a good thing, right? So you have to perform this negative testing as well. Any question here from this positive and negative? So in positive testing, our intention is to prove that an application will work on giving valid input data. And in negative testing, our intention is to prove that an application will not work on giving invalid inputs. The good example is like phone number, invalid password. These are like a good example for this. Okay, so these are the testing. Okay, this is one more testing. So ad hoc testing or monkey testing. So I'll not go deeper on that because sometimes people get confused with these two kind of testing. Let's say that you are hired in a project and you don't have any idea, and they ask you to do some testing in your way. You don't need to understand the application, just do it. Can you do that? So you just hired.
Can you please repeat the question? What is that?
So let's say that you are hired today, and tomorrow I asked you that like yesterday you hired, and today I asked you to perform the testing on this application. Can you do that?
Yes, I can try. If I have the BRD and I have the structure for all of the test script, then I can start performing the work.
But how you do that? Within a day, you have to understand the requirement document. You have to go through the test case document. How can you do that?
Yeah, I have to have at least a single day to understand, or need sometimes to go for all of the requirements, and then I will go for the test.
It's not like easy thing to go over the requirement document and then understand the requirement and go over the test case documents is not an easy thing. So that's why what we do, we perform some testing. So like let's say that they have this kind of page. Now from the basic idea, can you perform some testing here from the basic? Like this is a radio button, right? We all know about this button. Like this is a radio button. You can select either one of these. You cannot select both of them. Is there anyone that who doesn't know about the radio button?
Yeah, any one of the button can be selectable, not both at the same time.
Yes, not both of them. So you can select only one, either Mr. or Mrs. So this is why we call this radio button. Radio button is for you can select only one option. Now you know that this is a radio button and you can select only one. So you can perform the testing here. If you try to select both of them and it selected both of them, that's when there is an issue. Even though if you don't have any idea about the application, you can perform some testing. You got the concept here?
Yes,
Yeah.
I got it. Like the sign in option, I can just type a random email address, and if it is not valid, it will be not able to sign in. That is all kinds of test, and I can say to the person who told me to do some performance testing on this application, then I can do some test.
Not performance. So don't say that word performance. It's a functional testing.
Functional testing, sorry.
Because performance falls under non-functional testing. So you always have to think like when you have this kind of page, what you can do? You have to insert an email address. If you don't insert the email address, will it able to take it? Will it take it? Then you have a drop down, and from this drop down, if you try to select something, it should select something. So these are the kind of basic knowledge you already have. So you already have browsed a lot of pages. You already have this kind of knowledge, and you have to implement that. This text box. This text box supposed to be like, you see this? This is static. Static means this is a mandatory text box. So if you keep it empty, will it allow you to go move forward? So this is kind of like a basic things that you have to use in that kind of situation. If they ask you, go and perform some testing. So that kind of testing, we call that ad hoc testing. So ad hoc testing is kind of like you don't have any knowledge, but you're performing the testing. Okay, so this is kind of like, we also call that as monkey testing. This ad hoc testing, because you don't know and you are performing the testing randomly. That's why we also call that as monkey testing. But monkey testing is something also different. In monkey, is it the right thing? Oh, I did the mistake here.
Actually, I want to mention, Zakir, that in my homework, I made the same mistake, and I thought I'm getting old. Oh my God, what am I doing? Now I see younger people do that too. That makes me feel better.
Okay, so
This is also a slip of pen.
It's a good thing if I make some mistakes, right? It's a good thing. It will encourage you to not.
Of course, yeah. That encourages other that I'm not the only one making that mistake, and I always feel like, oh my God, I'm getting old. Can I do it? I was like, oh my God, why did I do that? How did I do that? So yeah, I know.
Okay, but it's a good thing if you make mistakes, because when you make the mistake, then it's a place that where you able to like find that mistake, and you will not repeat that mistake in the future. Like this thing, if I'm seeing that this is a monkey, I'm saying this monkey, but this is here it says that ad hoc. So this is true that ad hoc testing is also like called as monkey testing. This is true. My statement was not like false. So monkey testing is performed randomly with no previously predefined test cases. So you are not following any test cases, but you have to perform some random testing. So that is monkey testing. And in ad hoc testing, testing is executed without planning or documentation. Like there is no document. Like there will be a lot of projects is going on without any document. Like the requirements are coming, it's going to that the backlog directly, and then the developers are working. They are not following any BRD, or they are not following any test case document. They're just doing it. So in agile, they do that because they want to save the time. Instead of like creating this kind of document, they want to use that time in executing and performing the testing or performing some job. So in case like if the people join and they don't have any idea and they have to perform the testing, so basically they are doing the ad hoc testing. Okay. And in monkey testing, testers may not know the system's purpose, that why they are performing the system. And in ad hoc testing, testers must understand the system, especially before. Okay, so I mismatched here. Now I mismatched here. I'm getting older. So I know that this ad hoc monkey testing is falls under the ad hoc testing, but my statement for this one is opposite. In the monkey testing, you don't have any idea about the application, but in ad hoc testing, you have some idea about the application. The purpose of monkey testing is to inspect for system crash. So whenever you are testing anything, if you are a tester, your main goal is to crash the system. Ad hoc testing aims to divide the system randomly into subparts and check their functionality. So in this case, you might be testing like one single menu, like one single page, something like that, like not the whole system together. Okay. So this is like some of the terms they use in the testing, ad hoc testing and monkey testing. Mostly they use this term ad hoc testing. So ad hoc testing is something like you will perform the testing, but you don't know that what testing you are going to perform, and you are not following any document. That is like ad hoc testing. It's like random testing. So any question from this black box, white box, gray box, positive, negative, and ad hoc and monkey testing? Anything? Yes, that is true. We learn from mistake. Okay. Now, if you don't have any question, so this is one of the most important part of our testers, and that is find an issue, defect, or bug. So usually we don't say that as an issue, we say that defect. And when that is confirmed that it is a defect, then we call that as a bug. Okay, so no longer we'll call that as any like any issue in the system. We will not call that as an issue, we'll call that as a defect. And if the developer confirm that that is a defect, if your test lead or if anyone confirm from your team confirm that that is a defect, then we call that as a bug. Okay. Now, what are the terms? These are the terms that we need to know. Error is kind of like a code error, like when you are typing something in the code and somehow you made a mistake and it's not running. That is an error. So that is kind of like not from your part, you will see it's a developer part, it's a coding error. Defect, so you find an issue and you in the system that is not matching your expected, so that is a defect. And when the defect is like reviewed and accepted by the developer, then it's called as bug. Okay. And then when you don't find any issue and you say that everything looks good, just send it to UAT The product owner, business analyst, they also perform that, the testing. They also didn't find any issue, and they push that to the real user, and then the real user finds some issue. Then we call that as a failure. Okay, then we call that as failure. And missing and wrong is a requirement of the customer that was not fulfilled. So customer asked for something and you provided something else. So in the requirement document, customer says that I need a sub menu, for example, like pizza. For the restaurant, they want to add the pizza. And somehow, instead of the pizza, you inserted, the developer inserted sushi, and then you tested that there is a sushi or not, and then you delivered that. And the end user says, the customer says, I asked you to do that. I asked you to add the pizza, but you added this one. Why? Cancel the contract. I don't know. I no longer need you. Forget about the money. Okay. So these things happen. So as a tester, you have to be very careful and you have to test it. And this is fault. A fault makes an application behave in a wrong manner. For example, let's say that people wants to order wings from the pizza store, and when they are clicking on the wings, it's going to that pizza, which is wrong, right? There is a the link is not working properly, or they are trying to add more than 10 pizza, but it's not working. The capability is only able to take 10 pizza orders, so it's not working as expected. There is a issue in that system, so that is a fault. So the same thing, if you find any defect and you have to create a bug, then you have to mention something from here, at least the title, that is we call summary. If you see here, try to match with this one, try to match with this. It's a bug. At first, you have to select that as a bug, then summary, that is a title, then description, that I already told you that what are the things that we need to keep here in the description, then environment, severity, priority. So I will come to the severity. Let's say that I'll put that high, medium, or low. Priority, it can be like any of them, like low, medium, high. I'll give you an example, then you will be understanding this priority and severity. Then what else we have? Version, then which version it's got affected, like in which version you find that issue, like version 6 or version 7, version 8, like which release basically they are meaning. Status, what is the status of this one? Is it the bug is still active, or is in the testing status? So you have to make that status. Then you also have to keep this one steps to reproduce, so that the developer can reproduce that bug. Then you have to assign that bug to a developer. Then resolution. So when developer fixes the bug, they should include the cause for the bug and its resolution. So you find that issue, you find that bug, you log that bug, then now the developer needs to work on that. So when the developer worked on that, then developer need to insert some description. So why this bug, how this bug created, why this happened, and what are the things they have done to fix that bug. Okay, so that need to be come from the developer. So these are the things that at least you need to know, and at least you should create at least one bug in Jira, so that you can talk about that. So in sometime in the interview they might ask you, so how you created a bug. So when you create a bug, I have to make that issue type as a bug. I have to insert some title, a summary, description. So you have to mention what are the things you have to put here, environment, severity and priority, build in, and then where is that, assignee, reporter is your name. So when you are done, then they might ask you one follow-up question, and that is, Okay, what is the difference between priority and severity? So the priority is how quickly they have to fix it. The developers have to fix it. And severity is how likely it's impacting to your system. Impacting means that, let's talk about the signing. If you are Amazon user and you are not able to log into the system, so what will be the priority to fix that issue or fix that bug? You can type it. Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. So it's a high priority thing, right? Highest priority thing is the highest one because
Highest.
not, yeah, because without, it's fine that low, high, and usually in that you will find low, medium, and high. Sometimes you also find that the lowest and highest, but it's okay if you are saying high. I know that you mean that the highest one. So that's when that the developer have to fix this one in a highest priority. Now, tell me, is this affecting the system? Is it affecting the application functionality? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I got one yes, one no. So I need some more answers so that I can move forward. Okay, two yes, one no, two no, and two yes. I need one more, that is decider. One more answer, that will be the decider. So I got two yes, two no. No, okay. So the people who said no, I will ask one question to you. So if you are not able to log into the system, how you will, how likely you will come back to the Amazon and make an order? If you find this issue, like you are not able to log in, then, and if you have some other option like Wayfair or like eBay or Alibaba, so you have like different options. It affect, right, it affect the customer. Like if I'm not able to log into the system for like couple of hours, I'll think like the Amazon, they are giving bad service. I might not go to Amazon. And this, if this issue comes again, then definitely I will think about some other option. So this is kind of like impacting your functionality of that application because you are not able to log into the system. So that's why I would say this is a high severity, because this is one of the main feature of this application, that you will be able to log into the system. Got it? So you got the idea about the high severity and high priority, right?
Right. Thanks.
Okay. Now let's say that search. Let's search bestseller. Let's talk about the bestseller. Now we already know that there is an option called bestseller in Amazon.com, right? Do I need to show you? No, right? You already know about that. No? You don't know? So this is a bestseller, right? This is a bestseller option that we have in Amazon.com. Now this bestseller, for some reason, this bestseller option is not available in the Amazon.com. For some reason, there is an issue, there is a defect, and that's why it's not showing here in this page. Now tell me or guess it that will it be a high priority, low priority, high severity, low severity? What will be that? What will be the answer? You said low severity. So what will be the priority on it?
We can say it's also like a medium.
Okay. Medium what? Priority or severity? So you have to answer two things here, the severity and priority. Anyone wants to answer this? Okay, I got one answer here. That is medium priority, medium severity. Okay. So you want to go with the safe side, medium and medium. Low severity and medium priority. Medium priority, low severity. Yes, kind of. So basically the thing is, you have to think, is that functionality low severity, medium priority? Yeah, you can also say that. It's almost the same thing. So why I say that? Because that functionality is not affecting my application. If that bestseller is not there, but still the users, the customers can search, the customer can log into the system, customer can buy the product. So that is our main functionality. So that is working fine. The bestseller option is not working, which is fine. So they can fix it. So I have to check that. I have to keep that as a like medium priority, and I should take that as like low or medium severity. I shouldn't go for the high severity because it's not affecting my application. Got it? Okay. Now, if you got it, just answer one more question here, and that is, let's say that this one, this logo, Amazon, this you see this logo here. Instead of this Amazon logo, it's showing the eBay. Tell me, what will be the priority and severity? Okay, I got one answer here. Okay, I got three answers. Anyone else wants to try? Okay, so three of you have said that it is a high severity and high priority. I will go with that. The reason is this is a high priority, which is a correct one. Everyone says that the same thing. And why it is a high severity? Because if the customers of the Amazon customer.com customer goes to the Amazon.com, and if they find this eBay logo here, is it a good thing? So they will get confused. Are they in the Amazon.com or they're in the eBay? Am I right? Okay. So that is the reason. So we'll say that as a like high severity and high priority. So they have to fix it right away. Right away means that within a day, or they have to take their application down and they have to fix it and they have to come back again with that Amazon.com or Amazon logo, right? So this is kind of like high priority and high severity thing. Okay. And for the high priority and low severity is kind of like, for example, forget password. Not all the customers forget their password, right? So it's possible like in one customer from 50 or 100 customer, forget the forget the password, right? So that is kind of like high priority, but it's a low severity. It's not affecting my application. Okay. Any question from this defect and the bug report?
So,
No, right?
yeah.
Yes, right.
So, so in the interview, if somebody is asked about this type of questions, so you cannot really go really that wrong in your answers, right? Because the answers can vary on
Answers
the
can vary. That is
situations,
correct. They also,
right?
yeah, that is true. The answers, yeah. can vary and depend on the situation, depend on the application, the
Right, right. Mhm.
severity and priority differs, right? So
Right.
it
Mhm.
depends. So if you take any example, just tell them, they will understand that.
Right. That's what I think too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So one last thing for today is understanding this one, the life cycle. So life cycle is all the places in SDLC, STLC. Now this is defect life cycle, and we also call that as a bug life cycle. The same thing. Defect life cycle, bug life cycle, same thing. Now just think about. Don't check this picture. Now tell me one thing. So I need a volunteer here. Is there anyone who can help me out?
Sure, I can try.
Okay. So let's say that you are testing something and you find an issue. So what will be the first approach from your side?
If I find an issue, then it will be a bug. I can report that as a bug or defect.
Okay. So you can report that as defect. Now, will you check it only for one time and then you'll say this is a bug?
No, definitely I'll check it for multiple times.
Multiple time and then we'll say that this is bug. Okay. Once you
Before reporting anything, I have to make sure myself and I have to save my back first. Then I will report.
Okay, yeah, that is true. So when you create that bug and then you also have to assign that bug to the developer, am I right? Who is responsible, who is going to fix that?
Definitely.
Okay. Now that person will check that and say this is a really a bug or not, right?
Right.
The developer might can like reject that bug as well. Like the developer might say that this is not a bug, this is a functionality that we are expecting, right? They also can say that.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
the developer might can say yes, this is an issue, this is a defect, so you can work, we have to work on that. Okay, or this is not a defect, this is not like they have to work on, and this is also not a defect, so they also can defer that. Okay, so they can work on later. Okay, so not in that context, let's not go to that part. After you assign that, now developer need to work on that, right?
Yes.
When the developer work on that, developer working means the developer fix that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the developer fix that bug, fix that issue, then you have to test that again.
Yes.
So when you're testing that, if you find that issue still is there, the bug is still there, will you say that the test is passed?
No, I'll check the version, which version the previous version was like if as a defect, and second version if the developer fixed. Still, if it is showing, then I have to multiple test again. Then I will report again to the developer. Hey, the bug didn't fixed yet.
Okay, so that's mean that if the bug didn't get fixed, you have to say that this bug is not fixed. You have to work on that again, right?
Right.
But if the bug got fixed, then what you would say? This passed, right?
Pass.
Okay. So you got that the flow. You got the flow of this bug, right? That how you create, what you are going to do, and the person, the developer, need to work on that, and after that you have to test that again, right?
Right. I
And
got the bug life cycle.
yeah, so this is the, and now if you check this picture, now you get the idea what you are going to do here in this life cycle. So this is life cycle is very important. They ask you in the question in the interview that what is defect life cycle, or you have to talk about this is defect life cycle or bug life cycle. So at first you will create that defect, create that bug, and then you have to assign that to the developer. Once you assign that, the developer might can reject that, developer might can defer that, and may developer say that this is a duplicate, or developer might accept that. When the developer accept that, then developer need to work on that. So this is a place fix. So when the developer is working on that, so it's in a in progress status. Basically, it's in progress status. In between these two, assign and fix, there will be one more step, that is in progress. So when it's done in progress, and when the developer is done, then the developer will mark that as a fixed. Now, as a tester, you have to go back again and check if it is really fixed or not. If it is not fixed, then you have to reopen it. Then if it didn't get fixed, and you have to work on that again. But if it is fixed, then you have to say that it's verified, so it's tested, and there is no issue anymore. Then we will close this. So this is basically the defect life cycle. Just think about that you find an issue and you have to work on that, someone else. Okay. Now here, one of the things, this rejected, there is one thing that I need to share with you, that is a developer might can reject your defect. Why? You are seeing that, you can see that that's a defect. That is actually a defect, but developer is saying that this is not a defect. I'm rejecting it. Now you have to ask your developer, that I already show you this picture, right? 6 or 9. Developer said that it's not a defect. So developer might can reject that. But you are saying that no, it's not, it's a defect. It's supposed to be 6, but you created 9. Sorry, it's supposed to be 9, you created 6, so it's a defect. So what you need to do, you have to check yourself, the BRD first, what the requirement says. Are you making the mistake? If you're making the mistake, then you will have to go with that rejected. If you're not, then you have to ask the developer, are you following a different version of the BRD? Check with the new version if there is any. If not, then talk with your Scrum Master, your business analyst, your product owner, that this is the requirement, I found that issue, and now the developer is saying, you have to keep the developer in the same call with that product owner, Scrum Master, and business analyst, that this is the issue that I found, I'm following this BRD document, this version, and the developer is saying that it's not a defect. So it's, he or she rejected that defect. Now the developer will talk about that, why he or she rejected that. Okay, so this is the place that you need to understand. So if you just create a defect, that doesn't mean that that is a real defect. That might not be. Okay. Okay, any question here? No questions. Okay, so sorry I took extra 12 minutes today, because I thought that you need to understand this bug as well by today. So I will move forward. These all other like a very small thing, and some are related to automation. So which is fine. We can cover it on Tuesday. On Tuesday we'll cover the remaining part of the manual testing, and also we'll check the Jira for that, the test application, the reports, and then the test plan, test matrix, RTM, all these things. Okay. Now that is it from me for today. So do you have any question from any of these things that we have learned? No questions, no issues. So there is like some of the very important things that we learned today for the interview as well. So try to go over these things. And if you have an issue, you can also join the help session on Sunday at 10. I'll be there from 10 to 12. But if I don't see anyone join between 10 to 11, then I will stop the session. But if you have a
get this this
Hmm?
slide.
Yes, you will get the slide. You will get all the slide. I'm just making some adjustment here, and
No worries, no rush.
I think I'll be able to share this by this weekend. Share this all the slides by weekend. Okay, I'll share all this.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
no problem.
Have a good night, everyone. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Walaikum Assalam. Yes, everyone. So, do you have any question or anything that you need to go over again? Assalam. Nothing? Okay, I'm stopping the record.